trail
It's
from
like
a hike?
it's kind of like a lifestyle versus like an event in your life. I feel like, you know, you kind of learn how to let go of a lot of things in your life, and it's kind of like not necessarily, it's a unique experience for everyone, you know. That the phrase hike your own hike is thrown around a lot, but you kind of like start to embody that, like that you kind of approach things a lot differently, you know. You start embodying that thing, so you know, you kind of learn how it's a lot better to hike your own hike than trying to hike someone else's hike or hike another thing. So it's like just anything in your life, like there's more than one way to get to the same goal. Everyone's trying to get to Canada, and everyone does it a little bit differently, but that doesn't make anyone else better than one person or another. And it's kind of like the same thing. It's like you kind of learning that, transitioning that. It's like a experience where everyone's kind of growing up at and it's, I don't know, it's like a community. It's a really neat community. It's different than other communities I've been in. You know, athletics has its own community. Being a collegiate athlete has like its own tight-knit community, and this is like a different one.
How would you describe this community? The people you've met, the people you've been hiking with?
The people are just really humble and really sharing and looking out for other people and genuine, like giving people. It just brings out the best in you. People, you know, are trying to leave no trace and trying to leave as little impact as possible. And most of the time, you know, people are so much consumers, and there's people out here who have basically nothing, that have quit their jobs and only have $10,000 maybe dollars in their savings account, and they're giving away, you know, their foods, and they're letting people stay with them beyond their means at sometimes. And it's like, you know, it's really cool because the community's always looking out for each other. You know, we always talk about how the trail provides, and that if someone's really in dire need, they're going to be there for you. And it's really cool. Like, there's not a lot like that out in the outside world. You know, we eat half our food and we throw it away. We don't offer it to other people. We you know, go on the trail and like just throw our trash out, or don't even think about like what we're gonna do with our toilet paper or something like that. You know, every single little aspect, we try to enjoy the nature in its most natural form as possible by leaving as little trace as possible. And I think that's really cool and really different from an outside perspective. So if I had to describe it to someone, I'd say it's like it's kind of like a communal, not like the Camino in terms of like a pilgrimage, but it's kind of like that. It's like a pilgrimage of people kind of like growing up together with the same goal, and you're going out there, and it becomes less about nature the more you get into it, and more about the people, I think. So,
well, I would say it definitely changes you like forever. Like, you're probably gonna feel better about your thru hike than you ever would about any degree you'd ever get.
Really windy.
The wind pass.
What is this? What is this? It's like we're at a lake 11,000 feet up.
What is this wind shit? So my first thing is, like, I would tell most people to not do it, because the suffering that you go through, like, is pretty intense. Like, you have to be the kind of person that, like, doesn't really care about that kind of shit. Maybe a masochist, but it's probably the kind of person you have to be, A. And then B, like, if you do it, it is going to be probably the thing that you're going to look back on when you're old and gray and feel the best about in your whole life.
It sounds cliche to say it, but it's amazing. The people are amazing. The trail's amazing. Everything is different. And what I mean by that is every day is different. Just because people move at different paces, so I meet new people every day. But you're also traveling through the environment, through landscapes, and that changes as well. So every day is different. If you're having a challenging day, you know, the next day might not be challenging. But yeah, it's amazing. It's awesome. It's breathtaking. It's kind of beyond words. It's something that you can't I don't know. I don't have the words to describe it.
Maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah. I definitely think that I definitely encourage everybody to do something like this at some point in their life, where they have to where they have to find simplicity basically in their life, and what are the essentials, what are the basics in life.
And you think this trail forces that?
Yeah, in many ways, because you're carrying your burden. You're carrying it all with you, and and you can decide what you want to carry and what you don't want to carry. But early on in the trail, I was able to relieve myself of a lot of burden. Those 2 stoves went down to 1 stove, 2 pairs of gloves went down to one glove. You realize what is important and what is necessary and what is not. And I think that's important for people to experience in life.
I think about that a lot because I watched Carrie come off the Appalachian Trail, and everyone asked her, I was like, how was the AT? And I mean, how do you say something like, oh, it was great, it was fun? Because it's more than fun. I start off saying it's probably one of the best experiences of my entire life, and I felt lucky to have a lot of unique, non-normal, really amazing experiences thus far, and this is definitely becoming one of the most prominent, memorable, and just amazing experiences ever. And if they don't know anything about it, the trail goes from Mexico to Canada, and you get to you walk through the entire terrain and see how it changes from environments of water and non-water, and mountains and non-mountains, and desert. And you're experiencing that and with a positive mentality, and kind of thinking about everything as it is rather than thinking the desert sucks because there's no water and it's hot and all this shit, but just saying the desert's an amazing place because it grows without any water. And if you give the time to see every single environment, it's consistently incredible. And you're doing that, this nomadic lifestyle that 2,000 people decided to do this year, to walk across the country through the mountains and see how the land changes from the south to the north. And in a sense, we're going back to a nomadic way of how people used to move forever all over the world. They'd consistently be moving in search of food and shelter and better weather and more water and such, but they'd be moving with a group and relying on each other. And we're also doing that on the trail too. And it's this kind of hybrid between this classic, ancient, nomadic lifestyle with gear and going into town and seeing all the other people and such. Which I don't even know if that answers the question or not, but it is
just a question.
Yeah, it is the most amazing experience, and it's because it's the simple thing you're doing is just walking. You're just living a nomadic lifestyle, walking from A to B.
It's like having the best time of your life interrupted with long 25+ mile hikes. So like you do a lot of loitering and day drinking and being a transient youth in town, and then you come out here and you it's very disciplined and it's very hard. People don't realize like how hard it's going to be. Like you're out here carrying everything that you need plus some, and you're walking 20+ miles a day, and like that it's not easy. That's not easy. It's kind of like type 2 fun, It's like fun looking back on it, but when you're in it, it's it's hard, and it's good for you. It's like meditation almost,
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely not a vacation.
Definitely not a
A lot of
vacation.
people come out here and they have one idea that
like 6 months of
no.
yeah, and it's totally not that. But I think that's one of the beauties of the trail is like every time you think that you have it figured out, it's like just kidding, ha ha ha, like.
It's probably been the most rewarding thing that I've ever done in my entire life. Definitely one of the hardest too. Like I mean, I haven't gotten like anywhere to the point where like I felt like quitting or anything like that, but the trail does like test you like every single day, like as like it'll just throw out these like miniature challenges at you, and then you just deal with them.
Yeah.
But my advice to someone that would just walk up here is just to get out there and do it, or at least try it, like part of it. Like you don't have to commit to doing the whole thing. You could just get out on the trail and start walking, and then kind of just see where you end up. I think that's probably like the best mentality to have towards this thing, as opposed to being like, if I start this, Canada is the finish line. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that a lot of people can get something out of it, even if they're on trail just for 20 miles.